Most people believe buying a home is the safest financial decision they can make. It feels responsible, stable, mature. You stop throwing money away on rent. You build equity. You lock in your future. That's the story most of us absorb long before we ever run the numbers. But the math is more complicated. Take a $500,000 home with 20% down. You put down $100,000 and finance $400,000. At 6.5% interest over 30 years, you won't pay $500,000. You'll pay closer to $900,000 in total. And that's before property taxes, insurance, maintenance, closing costs, and the invisible variable most people ignore: opportunity cost. Here's where the illusion begins. People compare rent to the monthly mortgage payment. They rarely compare rent to the total cost of ownership. A $2,500 mortgage payment might look similar to $2,300 in rent. That feels close enough to justify buying. But ownership includes roof replacements, HVAC failures, plumbing issues, rising property taxes, insurance adjustments, landscaping, appliances, and the steady wear of time. The house is not just an asset, it's an ongoing capital project. Rent is predictable. Ownership is lumpy. Now consider the down payment. That $100,000 invested in a broad market index earning 7% annually becomes roughly $760,000 over 30 years without adding another dollar. If the return averages 8%, it grows even more dramatically. When you buy, that capital becomes illiquid. It's locked inside walls. You cannot easily rebalance it. You cannot partially sell your kitchen to fund an opportunity. Accessing it requires refinancing, selling, or borrowing against it. Yes, home prices appreciate. Historically, residential real estate in developed markets appreciates around 3 to 4% annually over long periods. Equities have historically returned closer to 7 to 10%. Real estate can absolutely build wealth, especially when leveraged. But leverage cuts both ways. A 3% appreciation rate looks attractive when you borrowed 80% of the purchase price. It looks far less impressive when interest rates are high and transaction costs are included. There's also friction. Buying and selling a home often costs 6 to 10% of the property value when you factor in agent commissions, closing costs, inspections, moving expenses, and time on market. That means you need years of appreciation just to break even. Real estate rewards long holding periods. But life doesn't always cooperate with long holding periods. Then there is flexibility. When you rent, moving costs one lease break. When you own, moving means timing the market, listing the property, negotiating offers, and paying fees. A house anchors you geographically. Sometimes that's stability. Sometimes that's constraint. If a better job appears in another city, the decision is no longer purely about opportunity. It's about transaction costs and logistics. There's also concentration risk. For many households, their home represents the majority of their net worth. That means a single local market downturn can disproportionately affect their balance sheet. If your income is tied to the same regional economy as your home value, you are doubly exposed. None of this means renting is superior. It means the comparison is incomplete. The real question isn't, is renting throwing money away? Rent buys flexibility, reduced responsibility, and liquidity. The real question is, what is the total cost of ownership? What return are you foregoing elsewhere? How stable is your location? And how much optionality are you willing to sacrifice for permanence? A mortgage is not automatically a wealth strategy. It is a leveraged commitment with embedded costs and constraints. For disciplined buyers in stable markets with long time horizons, it can compound positively. For others, it becomes an expensive symbol of security that limits mobility and concentrates risk. The illusion isn't that homes don't build wealth. The illusion is believing they always do, regardless of purchase price, interest rate, market cycle, personal flexibility needs, and alternative investment returns. Financial decisions feel safer when they are culturally reinforced. Buy a house sounds prudent, but prudence is not a slogan. It's a calculation, and culture does not calculate opportunity cost. Spreadsheets do.